Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby.
You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
Test. I think I'm back. Hello. What's up, everybody? Sorry about that. Listen, okay, we're going to get this straightened out with your generous donations. We have before us test. Was it really that long ago, Lord Bibby? Everything was fine until Nick updated to Windows 11 back in the spring of 2021. Was it really that long ago? Thank you, Lord Bibby, and everybody who's been tuned in. Thank you for the patience. I think we're rocking and rolling now, I think. We got to get this equipment figured out because I was telling you guys, I don't know if you were able to hear me, but I was talking about the apparition, the demon in the gear, the demon in our equipment. It seems to pick someone on the network, whether it's Jesse, it was James for a bit. It seems to be me now for a little bit here. I got the buffering demon on my back. I got the buffering Baphomet on my shoulder. Yeah, blame it on the gremlins. Yeah, blame it on the gremlins now. Doom Jesus is paying for it. That's what he gets for tuning into the beginning of the show. What a mess. We're going to get this gear stuff situated, though. Because this, the buffering demon just can hit it. You never know when the buffering is going to hit. How's your Monday going? Everybody loves Mondays, right? American Anchor Baby. Okay, we're here Monday. We got a nice show, I think. Controversies. So many controversies. Loose ground wire somewhere. I wish it was like that. I wish it was just like a loose ground wire somewhere. Hey, what's up, Amber Lance, Vasconomi, Mr. Pink, Carlota? Everyone's mad. They got controversies. Seems to be a new controversy. There's been a controversy with Christmas from the beginning, apparently. In America, did you know that Christmas used to be banned in America? It used to be banned. Outlawed. Okay, well, to be a little bit more accurate here, Christmas observance was outlawed in Boston in 1659. Okay, so it wasn't quite the United States of America yet, huh? With a fine of 5 shillings, which apparently was significant back then, and the ban in Boston, 1659, started by the Puritans. They called them the Puritans. Revoked in 1681. I'm thinking about some of these callers and chatters who've been chatting away in my chat, in the Hake Report chat, calling into his show, calling into the Jesse Lee Peterson show. And they have started their yearly onslaught against Christmas. They're seeing red. All they see is red. And Satan instead of Santa. They don't see Santa, they just see Satan. And they've teamed up with the irreligious masses. They've teamed up with the irreligious masses in their battle against Santa. Okay, enough with the pros. Enough with the pros. But you know it's true. Some of y'all Santa haters, Christmas haters. Not a lot happening, I don't think. So I'm going to talk about this. I don't think there's too much going on. The ladies at the Skim, they're talking about these hostages who were killed over in Israel by their own. Like the IDF accidentally killed these hostages, apparently. So that's kind of some of the news going on. I mean, not a lot going on. Not a lot going on. Hostages dead in Israel. Rudy Giuliani. So not too much going on. But you know what is going on? All this Christmas hate. So yeah, apparently it was banned. There was a caller on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, Ron from Texas. Now, I couldn't confirm what he was saying about Christmas, that it was banned all the way up until the 1800s in America. But it turns out that Christmas does have a bit of a contentious history with these pilgrims, the pilgrims who came to America in 1620. They're described as strict Puritans, they called them. Puritans, I guess. So, Puritans, so they had gripes with the Catholics, the Roman Catholics, and certain things. They had firm views on religious things, okay? They for whom all days are holy can have no holiday. Apparently a common Puritan maxim. I don't know how common, but according to the week here, okay? I don't think that's a controversial piece of information, so I'm going to just assume that they're telling the truth about that. They for whom all days are holy can have no holiday. How are you going to pick a special day when all days are holy? Christian is a Puritan maxim of them. They nicknamed Christmas Fool's Tide. They called it Fool's Tide. So they had gripes with this whole gripe with Christmas. It goes back a little bit here. So some of these callers and chatters may be talking about some gripes here they're not totally unfounded. Founding fathers didn't promote any holidays, according to Amber Lance. Firm views on religious holidays. So these people who came to America, 1620, they were the Puritans, okay? And on the 1st December, apparently, that 1st December 25th, because this Christmas time and all this, what they call Fool's Tide, was celebrated in England, too. Okay, this is like a English, medieval England, popular holiday in medieval England, okay? So the 1st December rolls around when the Pilgrims came to America, and they don't celebrate it. They don't celebrate it. In fact, they build and work. They work that 1st December, solidifying their disdain for this holy day they called Christmas. In fact, the 2nd December next year comes around, and the governor of the Plymouth colony at the time, Governor William Bradford, actually punishes these non-Puritan workers who he found, or I believe people there found, they were playing basically a game instead of working. And Governor William Bradford is quoted saying, "My conscience cannot let you play while everybody else is out working." The Puritans, they were hard workers, and they did not like all these holy days. You guys got to have another holiday. We're out here working. What are you doing? So they had several reasons for not liking Christmas, okay? And their disagreements with Christmas, it had to do a little bit with, from what I can tell, it had to do a little bit about how, well, you can't, they didn't believe that Jesus was born that in December. That's one of their gripes with it. They also saw it as a Roman celebration of the sun god Mithra. It apparently, in those days, December, these celebrations fell in the middle of Saturnalia, a Roman month-long holiday dedicated to food, drink, and revelry. So, beyond that, though, from what I can read, what I've gathered, the Puritans didn't have any problem with Christmas beside any other like theological problems, okay? The main reason they didn't like this Christmas business was because of all the drinking and all the partying that happened in medieval England, and they didn't want to bring any of that over. A 16th century clergyman, Hugh Latimer, is quoted as saying, "Men dishonor Christ more in the 12 days of Christmas than in all the 12 months besides." Makes me think a little bit about Easter and just some lightweight research I did on Easter. Ishtar, they call it Ishtar, a pagan holiday. And just some of the lightweight research I did on Easter and how there are Christians who kind of saw the Easter revelries just as bad. That they didn't quite see it as Christian. It's just a bunch of people drinking and, right, because the whole idea, one of the ideas of, I'm forgetting if it was Passover or Easter, but the idea is that you give up something. But in the week or sometime before that day comes where you agree to give up something until, I don't know, Jesus returns, you party it up on the day that before you give that up. And you do all the stuff that you're supposed to give up harder than ever. And so a lot of people saw that as not particularly Christian. And they had their gripes. So it's kind of reminding me about that. I mean, this is I say this part to like put to rest all these callers. I mean, you gotta see how, you gotta think that you gotta be a ridiculous person to call Jesse Lee Peterson and try and counter signal Christmas and try and tell him, well, the Bible said this and the Puritans said that. When the Puritans and people, they didn't have a theological gripe, okay? It was because they saw their Americans, the citizens around them, the people who were supposed to be Christian, acting quite not Christian, okay? Reveling, drunk, being drunkards, just excess. They didn't quite see that as Christian. So I don't want anybody calling the shows having a gripe with Christmas unless you're a Christian. Unless you're American or a Christian. Otherwise, stay out of the conversation. Stay in your lane. You know what I mean? Because these people were talking about real things. Not, well, this verse says this about trees or some crap like that. They didn't like it because of all the degeneracy. Settlers in New England went even further, outlawing Christmas celebrations in 1659. Anyone caught shirking their work duties or feasting was forced to pay a significant penalty. Get wrecked, lazy people. Yeah. Did the Puritans relent? No, not at all. They kept up their boycott of Christmas in Massachusetts for decades. It sounds like they're still doing it. We got some Puritans in the chat. We got Puritans calling in the show, apparently. Apparently, they're still going at it. They're still fighting about this. Anti-Christmas sentiment flared up again around the time of the American Revolution. Oh. The colonial New Englanders began to associate Christmas with royal officialdom. See, it had nothing to do with theological crap. It was, they related it to the oppressive English royalty that they try to get away from, or they associated with and maybe even judged their fellow Englishmen and Christians who were just partying it a little too hard and just totally missing the whole point of Christmas. And so they thought to themselves, you know what? This is evil. We're not doing this. Maybe a bit of an overreaction. Maybe even a judgment to their fellow brothers. I guess the irony of this whole thing, I'm bringing it up, is because it's got to be a total joke that anyone would call these shows to try to counter-signal Christmas, to counter-signal Christ. You got to understand, some of these callers, they have a problem with Jesus. And so they try and bring it up like, you see, look, you're celebrating a pagan holiday. Somehow as a big gotcha, like somehow that doesn't make Jesus real, or I don't know. If you're not a Christian, like, stay out of the conversation, right? Stay in your lane. Because why would you call it? It's like, is Jesse one? I find it hard to believe the Puritans would disagree with Jesse. I mean, they might disagree with him on other things, but on the morality and all this. And what are you doing about it in your life? What are you doing in your own life? What would the Puritans say about you? No, but what would the Puritans say about you? You're calling in, counter-signaling what? Like, what would the Puritans say about you? You know what I'm saying? You can call in, by the way. I see your calls coming in, 888-775-3773. I will get to calls here in a second. But it makes me think about this satanic effigy or whatever in that Iowa state capitol. You definitely heard about this, right? They took it down. Former Mississippi House candidate vandalized. They're saying he vandalized it. He's charged. He's charged after vandalizing the satanic temple display that is destroyed at the Iowa state capitol. You definitely heard about this, right? Let me see if I can show you. Let me see if I can show you a little bit of what I'm talking about here.
A satanic holiday display at the state capitol has been vandalized after receiving pushback from religious Iowans and the governor. This is the shrine earlier this week before it was vandalized. Capitol Police say the statue of Baphomet, the goat-headed figure that you see in these videos.
Did she say Mohammed?
Was damaged earlier today. They add a Mississippi man has been charged with fourth-degree criminal mischief for the incident. Governor Kim Reynolds has called for residents to pray for the state in response to the display. Wait. I got to get this straight. Kim Reynolds said what? I mean, I understand they're charging this guy, this former candidate of Mississippi House, with fourth-degree criminal, what do they call it? What they called it? Mischief or whatever? Kim Reynolds, governor of Iowa. She asked for prayers? What kind of prayers? Kim Reynolds calls Iowa Capitol satanic display objectionable and encourages Iowans to pray. See, I didn't know this detail about the story, but you know about the satanic display in the Iowa State Capitol. You know about the man who went to behead and destroy this display. He's now been charged. Incredible. Governor Kim Reynolds apparently encouraging Iowans to pray over the Capitol building in response to the satanic display, which he called absolutely objectionable. Like many Iowans, I find the satanic temple's display in the Capitol absolutely objectionable. In a free society, the best response to objectionable speech is more speech, and I encourage all those of faith to join me in today in praying over the Capitol and recognizing the nativity scene that will be on display. The true reason for the season, she says. Anyways, just a little bit of the update on the satanic temple stuff there. It has to be said, the hypocrisy of the whole church and state crap. For how long have you heard this whole thing about, well, you got to keep your religion, Christians, out of the state and out of politics, because not everyone believes like you believe. And you're just pushing your beliefs. You're going around. It's not equal. It's not equality, okay? It's bigotry. It's not equality. It's triggering, okay? Not everyone's a Christian. Separate church and state. I just has to be pointed out the hypocrisy of the whole thing. Not the hypocrisy being that the people pushing for those things never really want an equal world, a neutral state. That's a myth in the first place. The myth of the neutral state. A state, a governing body that is absolutely neutral. No, many times they're more likely a mirror to the people, and at other times, totally captured institutions that have nothing to do with the people. But so it's just a myth. You see what I'm trying to say here? It's just a total myth. The myth of a neutral state. It's like feminism. The lie being, well, we want men and women to be equal. That always being a guise for the true agenda being to usurp the man, actually, to put women above the man. And that's the same kind of thing going on with church and state. Oh, you got to have free speech. You got to have free speech, right? This is free speech. You let all the religions speak. But what's like pretty dark about the whole thing is I guess a lot of Christians don't realize that it's through those methods that, well, number one, the people saying those things aren't being honest. They're not acting in good faith. They want to see Christianity be silenced and, go down. And so the guise is equality. And then the question of, well, free speech comes up. Should they even have the free speech to do that? Should they have the free speech to put up a satanic display? And I don't know. I mean, if you ask me, I don't want to see that stuff in a Christian country. It doesn't seem like this is just me thinking, okay? It's just how I feel, my opinion. But if I know feelings are strange things, they're not real, but it just feels like the founding fathers didn't mean that when they came up to free speech. They didn't quite imagine it like this. But I mean, maybe that's for a more moral, manly type person to handle, because you get into a strange space when dealing with this, because you don't want to be giving up. You don't want to be giving up things that are hard to get back once you give it up, like free speech, for example. Well, if we start banning that speech, can we? What's to say you can't ban something else? So I don't even want to comment on that. I don't even know. But it does. I do want to bring up the satanic display, because it makes me think about this. What about the obscenity of weak Republicans? You see that Polish MP over in Poland fire extinguishing the Hanukkah menorah, and we had our laughs about that. But you wonder, what the heck are Republicans, conservatives, Christians doing in this country at all? Where this display, it's like the most you can do is look at it and say, that's so bad, I don't like that. Like the satanic display is kind of the least of our issues, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. It's just the latest in a mirror to our society. These are just the fruits. These are just the fruits of the society. When Christianity has become so weak, people don't know what it means. So that's really like what I see really as obscene. We're talking about obscenity, and offensive things. This satanic display is kind of our least of our issues. There's this story with this Senate staffer, okay? The Senate staffer loses their job after allegedly having sex in a hearing room. A Senate staffer accused of filming himself having sex in a congressional hearing room. And so there's all this mess with this person, okay? This staffer who had sex with another male, okay? It's like pretty sordid stuff, pretty sordid, disgusting stuff. And I don't really care too much about the story, the details and all that. Some staffer, okay? They're doing gay stuff in the Senates. And it reminds me of someone who recently went viral, I think, for saying something like that. That Congress and politics is a lot of dark, sordid things, drugs, orgies. I forget this person's name, but this person got a lot of negative attention for making this claim. But it seems like over and over again, we just see some of the most sordid things happening in the highest levels of politics. But what got me is I go on X.com. I go on X.com. And I pull up X.com. Let's see what's happening in America. What's happening in the world. What's the news? And it's post after post of this sex tape. It's conservative after conservative after conservative account. Like, look at this gay sex, man. Did you see this gay sex, bro? Dude, did you see this dude having sex with this other dude, man? You haven't? Well, look at this. And then another conservative sees it, it's like, oh, wow, let me repost that and show. Like, I don't know if you guys, I know it's gross, and I'm sorry, but as a person who is following the news and the media and the social medias, this is my experience, okay? I'm just telling you, this is my lived experience. Don't get mad at me. It's like, what is conservatism? What the heck is that stuff? What the heck is conservatism? Is this conservatism? This is the MAGA movement. This is the MAGA movement. Merry Christmas, y'all. MAGA movement, conservatism, Trump 24, right, folks?
Our real president. Trans men don't understand what it takes to be a woman. Let your man make the money, baby. You just do the cooking. Joe Biden's a Grinch. Kamala's a witch. Conservative and naughty written on my Christmas list. Please for more years. Please
What?
for more years. Please for
What is this? What am I looking at? These are your Christian conservatives. Naughty list. Are they any different from the world? Like, I find it hard increasingly, more and more, and not even the GOP, not even just Republican GOP, but specifically like MAGA, online MAGA, red hat MAGA is increasingly no different than like the world. They're no different. I don't see any difference, any distinguishing, anything that distinguishes them. Remember that Riley Gaines woman? All right, and then I'll take calls and I'm done. Then I'll be done with my gripes. Oh, thank you. I see that's what happened. Oh, James coming in and fixing the TV. Thank you, sir. And then I'll be done with my complaint segment. Okay. Then I'll be done with my complaining segment. Oh, look at these conservatives, because I guess I'm no different, huh? But and then I'll get to calls. Then I'll get to calls. Riley Gaines, you heard about her. She's that swimmer who got basically she was forced to swim with another man in a competitive fashion. This man called himself transgender. She got a lot of attention fighting this transgender business. Anti-woke beer company.
Do you have a second?
They're all expecting more.
Let me just stop this ad. Holy. Anti-woke beer company teams up with Riley Gaines to launch Real Women of America calendar. This is conservatism. Real Women of America. This is a married woman, okay? This is a married woman. I wasn't going to say anything, and then I heard she was married, so then I had to hit her. And then I had to hit her with the take, I guess. Conservative dads, Real Women of America 2024 calendar. Right on, conservatives. We're not like these transgender weirdos. Our women have breasts. They like beer and they have boobs. Yeah. Yeah, America. Our women, they got boobs. Real ones. You know what those are? Yeah, men love those. Did you know that men love boobs, America? And we have those in the conservative movement in the Christian conservative movement of America, Trump 2024. Boobs, beer, America. It's also fake. It's also shallow. It's also shallow. It's so shallow. Why is she swimming if she married? LOL. All caps. Amazing. I love my chat. Why is she swimming if she married? LOL. I love my chat. Yeah, why is she married and swimming, huh? I want to know that. Married women in chat, do you swim ever? No, but you make a good point, Amber Lanes. Lily Poo and everybody who's been super chatting. I will get to super chatters and calls here. But I mean, come on, guys. You guys following me here? What a mess. What have we even been talking about? We're going to get into some other things here, but I got calls. Let's get to calls. But first, let me thank Lily Poo with the Rumble Rant. You can Rumble Rant. Rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. I have viewers on Rumble. You guys rock. Says, the pedo pope has just gave the green light for priests to marry same-sex degenerates in the churches. I pray mass exodus of the Catholic religion. Yeah, how do you like, I guess, reconcile that? Catholics, I mean, are you supposed to, like, what is the Pope to the Catholics? Is he just kind of like symbolic? Like, okay, right on, Pope, il Papa, il Potato. I love potato. I love il Papa 2024. We just think he's a nice guy. He's in Italy, and we look to him for guidance at times, but we're individuals. Or is it that you Catholics, he's your leader or something? I would like to know. That would be nice. What's up, D-Live? Thank you for the support. DLive.tv/Gorgonzola. I think they're not even lemons. Diamonds and ice creams. Thank you. Appreciate that. And I think that's all for now. Carver531 actually super chat says, so Sean was unaccounted for when the devil statue ... Yeah. That's a fine line of questioning, Carver. But first, let's get to Hector out of New Mexico. We're going to leave that one as an I don't know. Hector, New Mexico, you're on the air. Thank you, sir. Oh, I don't think we could hear you just yet. Let me unmute you. You're on the air now.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, what's up, Hector?
How's my phone? Is the quality good enough?
Coming in clear.
Cool. Okay, so and on a side note, it wouldn't be an Anchor Baby show if there wasn't any buffering problems.
Dang, so true. Oh man. But will you guys still love me when we get rid of the buffering?
I guess only time will tell.
Thank you, Hector.
So I've heard you talking about Vivek Ramaswamy in a positive light on your show in the past. And I was wondering, you don't have to, I don't remember if you've ever publicly announced who you're voting for, but do you think that Vivek Ramaswamy is someone worth voting for, or is he just another slick-talking politician?
I don't know. I don't think we know because he hasn't really. He's like a tech guy. He's never really done. He's like an outsider. Okay, kind of like Trump, an outsider here. And I personally have liked him at the. He's the one I like the most, I guess, at the debates. He seems a little young. He seems a little. You know what it is to me? It's not that I don't dislike him. I like what he's saying. He's an interesting guy. I'm for Trump. Let me just put that out. If you didn't know, I'm voting for Trump. I'm all the way Trump. I get this impression out of Vivek that he's not really serious in that, I don't know, how do I put this? Like, I'm not saying that he's not a serious person, but I don't think he really means it when he says he's running for president. And what I mean by that is like I think he's just this is just my opinion, but I think he really likes Trump. I think he wants to see a Trump presidency, and I think he's just kind of getting in there and bringing a conversation to the whole thing, to the GOP that's been left out, I guess, especially without Trump. So I think in my opinion, that's what he's doing. He's in there bringing in different points of views because, Trump is hearing this too. Trump is hearing the GOP debates and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, people in my chat are saying he's kind of trolling. It's kind of, but it's like sincere trolling. It's like sincere. It's like sincere. That's how I see it. Well, how do you see it?
I think he's very entertaining. He's definitely made the debates fun to watch.
Yeah.
And he, the simping that a lot of the other candidates are doing for Nikki Haley are atrocious.
All the simping for Nikki Haley?
Yeah.
You see that Chris Christie was on a debate stage. This male was on a debate stage. He was supposed to be debating. He was supposed to be, and he goes and he says to Vivek, I can't believe you're talking to a woman like that about Nikki Haley. That should be that. We're talking about gay sex in Congress. I'm sorry, guys. I know it's 12. I know it's the afternoon for some of you. Maybe too early to be speaking in such a way. But we're talking about obscene things like satanic displays and this sex tape in the Senate. That to me is gross and obscene. Is as a male on stage, white knighting for Nikki Haley in the way he did. He basically he should have just bent over. He should have literally bent over and said what he said. He should have said what he said, but while bent over, prostrate. That's obscene to me.
Yeah, I like Vivek in the sense that he is able to speak his mind but he hasn't been around long enough for me to get a real grasp on what he's really about. I think he's really new in the scene still. He's really fresh, so it's hard to know what his. I feel like once he's done saying everything he said, and let's say hypothetically he does get voted in as president, and I'm afraid that he's going to just forget about the things he said he was going to do and just revert to like this covert agenda that he's not making public. But he seems like he means well. But I just wish that the Republican Party would come to terms on who should be qualified to run for president. I feel like there's a lot of division. You got Trump on one hand who's running, and Trump is pretty much the GOAT. And I hope everyone votes for Trump. But then you have Vivek, and then you have DeSantis. And it's just, in my opinion, it's spreading out all of the possible votes that could be going to one person who wants to do something good for the country. And instead, it's just this shotgun effect, and it's being spread out amongst everybody. And it's I think that it's going to hurt our chances of redeeming our country.
But these are Republican primaries, right? So, in terms of splitting the vote, they're fighting for the Republican primary. So, once they pick somebody, it wouldn't be splitting. You know what I mean? Because it's just between who's going to be the Republican primary, like who's going to run for president.
Okay.
So they'd have if Vivek then turned around and then ran as an independent or something like that, then that would look like that would be like, for example, that's what they say about who's that guy, the Kennedy that's running, that he might get some of those normally Republican votes, and so that's like a split the vote situation.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you by chance catch the interview that Elon Musk had with it was 𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒎 there. It was in regard to Alex Jones being unbanned. Did you catch that podcast?
I didn't.
It was like, I believe Andrew Tate had a few words. It was pretty interesting. I think you should.
I'll see if I can check it out.
But
you
yeah,
really
I just want
think
to catch
you see 𝒏𝒂𝒃 at all like a possibility? You see 𝒏𝒂𝒃 being the president of the United States? Like, you see that being a real possibility at all?
In reality, I don't.
Right.
I don't
It's best to stay in reality and not worry about things that you don't even think are even likely to happen. Like 𝒏𝒂𝒃 being president. You know, so we don't even need to figure out if he's real or not, right?
You got a point.
Yeah, just let him duke it out. Let him duke it out in the Little League. We all know it's Trump. But it's been interesting to watch the Little League duke it out.
Yeah, I agree.
Right on, Hector. Anything else? Last thing you want to say before we move these wheels?
That's all I got.
Hector, call me again. Appreciate your call.
All right, take care.
Bye now. Right on. 888-775-3773. If you want to call in the show, jump on the air, talk about what you want to talk about. Yeah, I don't think America's voting in an Indian president. Their first Indian president. They might. They might. They might. Riley Gaines, where were we? I was telling you about Riley Gaines. Riley Gaines, the conservatives, their outrage. It's this or that gross thing. Oh, yeah, that's why I was telling you all this. Because Christmas is under attack. Sometimes even by people in my own chat. Christmas time, there's been a huge effort to replace everything that's American history, Christianity, etc. We talked about the satanic display and free speech and all that. Well, it takes on a little bit of a different context here. When you read a little bit of news here, for example, the Biden administration is removing the Reconciliation Monument in Arlington. The monument was built 109 years ago to honor post-Civil War reconciliation and national unity, history being rewritten before our eyes. Now, why would you want to get rid of... Now, there's all sorts of reasons, right? Well, that's a statue of a slave owner, or that's... But this is a monument for national unity, right? Reconciliation, they say. Now, what the heck is wrong with that? Republicans furious at the tearing down of the Confederate Memorial in Arlington. Well, there's your problem. You're calling it Confederate. It has the Confederate word, and that means racist. That means this. That means that. So all reasonable thinking out the window. Okay, because we're dealing with racists and Nazis. Despite mounting condemnation from dozens of Republicans, the Confederate Memorial will be removed before December 22nd from the nation's largest military graveyard, where 400,000 people, that was probably a lot during that time, no? People are buried in Arlington County, Virginia. Lloyd Austin, Department of Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, demanding that the department immediately suspend all removal activities. Well, basically, there was a big fight in stalling this whole removal, which was basically lost. An independent commission recommended last year the memorial be removed. In its report on renaming military bases and assets that commemorate the Confederacy. So you can't even commemorate that stuff. You can't remember it. You can't have any statues. Nope. No more. We're just black holing, memory holing this whole Confederacy business. However, the Republicans' letter to the DOD contended that the memorial should not be taken down because it does not honor nor commemorate the Confederacy. The memorial commemorates reconciliation and national unity. So that's the Republican response. They're like, no, it's not racist. You got to understand that translated, the Republican response to this was, no, but that's not racist though. No. We're with you. Down with the Confederacy. What this statute means is unity. See? That's what the Republicans basically, like, tell me that's not the weakest thing you've ever heard. I know it's one thing to read it in this article as the Republicans' letter to the DOD contended that the memorial should not be taken down, for it doesn't commemorate the Confederacy. It does not honor the Confederacy. It merely commemorates reconciliation. AKA, no, we're not racist. We're not racist. No, we're not racist. We hate those people. We're with you. We're with you. Down with the Confederacy. This means something else. Please don't take it down. That's basically the Republican response. If that's not obscene and gross, I don't know what to tell you. But it's also why we lose. It's also why Americans, patriots, okay, Republicans, conservatives, and Christians, why we lose. The response shouldn't be that at all. It should be like, yeah, they were slave owners, and yeah, they did all that stuff, and guess what? That statue's staying up. We don't care what you think. This is history of this country. It's what happened. Sorry. No, we're not racist. We swear. Put it back. What's up, Raymond? That's what we're talking about, Nick. We keep losing our A's. Put up a statue of Mao instead. Hey, what's up, Scotty Bean? Scotty Bean? DNK? TDS? Kevin Howe? Hey, what's up, Baldman? Are y'all going to vote for Trump if he's in jail? Are we allowed to? Yes. I mean, what else are we going to do? I think Baldman in my chat said that's not what Christie said. Okay, he may not have exactly said what I said, but he said something like that to Vivek, right? He said, you have a woman problem. He said to Vivek that he has a woman problem for the way he was talking to a woman. So, come on. What percent of them were slave owners again? Carver asks. I believe it was a small percentage. If I remember correctly. I believe it's quite a small percentage when in context to the rest of America, right? Obscene stuff. I mean, what can I tell you? Arlington. Beautiful area, apparently. It will go into storage until fate is determined, the cemetery spokeswoman said. Criticized for its sanitized depiction of slavery. So that's why. It sanitizes the depiction of slavery. Now, help me understand how that happens. How do you sanitize the... From the country's most famous cemetery as part of a military-wide effort to take down Confederate symbols from its bases. See, this is happening all across the country. If you remember, this was being talked about during Trump's presidency. So they've been at it. This is just the latest. They've been at it, removing stuff that has to do with the Confederacy, which is so evil. You cannot get rid of it. You just can't. It won't. It's not the same. It's not the same country. You just can't do that. You literally can't, you can't erase the Confederacy. It won't be America.
a mess. Anyways, what are y'all saying in the chat? Talking about what that fat beta said. You know it. Amazing. Christy didn't say he had a woman problem. Nikki Haley said that about Vivek. No, bald man. Christy said that about Haley. Haley did not say... Haley may have said that Vivek had a woman problem, but it was Chris Christie who said woman problem about Vivek. And then he went on... what does he say? He says woman, here it is, Daily Mail. Yeah. He definitely said Vivek had a woman. He was a Jack A with a woman problem. He definitely said it, bald man, 54. He said, he even went on after the debate. He went before the cameras to the news people, and he said, he repeated it. He said, well, Vivek has a woman problem and crap like that. Could you imagine that on the GOP debate stage? A person who's supposed to be a man defending another person, a big, strong woman. She's supposed to be a big, strong woman who could defend herself. Vivek, you have a woman problem. And hearing you talk to her that way this whole night, blah, blah, blah. And hearing you talk to that. Anyways. Obscene. Any Canadians in the chat? You guys find this obscene? Any Canadians? All right. Do I have any Canadians in the chat? And I'd like to know, do you find this obscene? Veteri. Rabu sabi tarla. Speaking of Indians, people, Vivek Ramaswamy. Speaking of it, hey, this is a segue and a half. Okay, don't get mad at me. It happened. It just fell on my lap. Okay, speaking of Vivek, speaking of Indians, speaking of obscenities. Any Canadians in the chat? Fine. Horrible, says TDS. Come on. This is kind of cute, no? 911, help me, I'm Indian. Okay, turn it off. Okay, you guys are... Okay, come on. You guys are overreacting a little bit, don't you think? Asidata. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard. They seem French, says Ivana. Ta loco, Canadians. Not cute, very stinky. Hey, Nathan, you don't know that. We don't have smell-o-vision. You can't smell these people. You can only hear them. It's kind of a ridiculous statement, Nathan. I estimate the Pope is behind all of this. This is a little moment that's going, what the? We've detected video in your stream belonging to someone else. YouTube, don't get mad at me. Is this video I'm playing owned by someone else? YouTube, I didn't know that. You can't talk to me like that. I didn't know that, YouTube. Okay, so I don't know what I played that may have been copyrighted, but the show seems to be running just fine, no issues. And I just showed you the Indians, according to this person, vandalizing the national anthem of Canada. That's what you just heard was the national anthem of Canada in Hindi. Anthem. Hindi. At a hockey game over there in Canada. Punjabi. I had a friend tell me that these are the Punjabis. The Punjabis are up to no good with this "Oh Canada," but I don't know. I don't know who's behind this. I don't know if it's the Punjabis. I can't tell you. I don't know. Some aren't happy. They're saying wokeism has no end. Extremely disrespectful to all Canadians.
"Oh Canada" in Punjabi at Jets versus Avalanche leaves NHL fans in splits. Not everybody's happy, which is surprising. You're telling me there's one person saying anything about this in Canada? Ahead of the Winnipeg Jets clash against the Colorado Avalanche on Saturday, the NHL made history by featuring a beautiful rendition of "Oh Canada" in Punjabi. The Canadian national anthem was sung in Punjabi for the first time in league history. The featuring of "Oh Canada" in Punjabi was part of the Jets' celebration of South Asian Heritage Night at their home in Canada Life Centre. They're just celebrating. They're just being inclusive. Punjabi. Punjabis. We got these Punjabis. Goddamn Punjabis. We got these goddamn Punjabis. I like that for some reason. Whoever wrote that in my chat, that's funny. You're making me laugh. Wokeism has no end. I mean, does it have to be said, the significance here, that this is a league first in their history? Well, why do you think? It's because they have a new demographic to accommodate. That's why. I don't know if it's disrespectful. I mean, they say, I mean, you look at the laws in America, they have laws for how the flag should be presented. It shouldn't touch the floor. There's all sorts of, there's a huge, all this fanfare and tradition behind the anthem and all that. It may seem silly to people today. And the military regalia of that time. We're talking hundreds of years ago, 200 years ago, these countries. The anthems of these different countries. And its tradition and all that. It may be lost on people today. You may not see it as disrespectful. I mean, you can see it as cute, a cover in a different language, but to replace the English saying, "Oh Canada," I mean, it's by definition a disrespect. It's by definition. And why, the reason why this is happening is to accommodate the very large Punjabi population in Canada. You got to understand, Canada is like a beachhead for the international community. Yeah, we got the international community coming in at the southern border in America. That'll soon happen if it isn't already in the northern border. Canada is a beachhead for the international community, which is a false term, international community. It's like the term POC, person of color. It's a way of grouping up a bunch of people against whites, against Americans, against Christians. And as much as we're seeing trans people, topless trans people at the White House, strange Christmas dances with androgynous costumes at the White House, our brothers in Canada up to the north, they got the same thing going on, but to a crazier degree, honestly. To a way more advanced degree, like a crazier degree, where anything Canadian, white, Christian, it's kind of like long gone, on its way out type thing. So, on its way out type thing. Whoa, why am I hearing myself double? Okay, I fixed it. I think I fixed it. So, that's my fault, Bill. Nothing to do with technical stuff here. I mean, I'm just showing you this because I'm an anchor baby from Canada, and I got a place in my heart for the Canadians. And Canada has changed so much. I'll always remember, I don't know, this is even before Trump. This is even before Trump and waking up to everything. It was a white friend of mine. I say this story every now and again, but it's always stuck with me for some reason. And we were talking about cultures. And he... And everybody was saying something, and he was like, "Oh yeah, no, we have no culture, and I hate Canada and all this stuff, and that always stuck with me. Like how this person was saying that about Canada. When it was the country that brought my family in. The decency of the country is what we enjoyed. Those are all Canadian things, Canadian culture. So I don't know. It's like, yeah, it's like maybe it's cute, but I think the underlying reasoning as to why there's a Punjabi Canada at a hockey game is a lot darker than it's not as cute. It's just not as cute, okay? It could be maybe, oh, it's these cute kids, they're singing the Punjabi Canada, but it's actually not that cute. It's a lot darker. And I think it's for multiple reasons, probably some governmental reasons where the government doesn't care about preserving those things, but also the people don't care. The people don't care about Christianity, about being Canadian, being American, being Christian. The people don't really care. So vacuums need to be filled. Where there was once Christianity and all that, it's a vacuum that has to be filled. It just has to be. It's just how life is, from what I could tell. That's how people are. There is no vacuum in ideology. There is no neutral state, okay? Where there's a vacuum, it gets filled with religion, belief, ideology, etc. It's just the way of the world, from what I can tell. I haven't seen it go any other way. So, it's a big lie. So what I'm trying to say is this whole church and state, separate the two, be neutral, allow all religions, is usually coded language. It's usually the precursor to the usurping of whatever religion and ideology is already there. So we should really think about these things when pondering what our country should look like. When we vote, when we consider all these things, the satanic display, etc. Right? You following me? Anyways, 888-775-3773 if you want to call in, chat about whatever you like to talk about. I wanted to show you a little video here. Tucker Carlson. You know Tucker Carlson, fired from Fox. Hey, Matthew, thank you for the super chat. Says, is anyone there? Hello. Hit the like button and count your shekels. Thank you, Matthew, for the super chat there. Appreciate that. Hello. And my supporters on Rumble, DJ 2020. What's up? How you doing? What's up, Hake Report? Nice. Typically eat once a day, depending on if I got big projects. No pork for you, DJ 2020. Why do you say? Is it biblical? Is it just not clean? I know I heard that we're allowed to eat pork now, but I'd like to know, why did they say that in the Bible? I heard this once, that all food is clean now. Thanks to Jesus or something like that. But I would still like to know, why was it unclean though? I just for posterity, I'd like to know, like, did they consider that unclean? And why? I would like to know why. Because I'm eating this stuff. I know you're telling me Jesus cleaned it, but it's like, I just like to know for my purposes why they didn't eat it. Pork and whatnot. What's up, Ohio Sentinel? Thank you. Because pigs were garbage disposals. Okay, interesting. Is that why we shouldn't eat like lobsters and stuff? Are they like bottom feeders? They're like the trash receptacles of the food of the animal kingdom? Yeah, I know, Doom Jesus, pork is good. Anyways, Tucker Carlson, he's got a show now on X.com. He's got his Tucker Carlson network now, apparently. He's talking about two stories that he's really scared to cover. Tucker Carlson on two stories that he considered, the subject matter of which he considers just particularly scary.
Haven't proven it yet, but
And I want to show you that.
There are two.
Here, let me show you Tucker and the two topics he's too scared to cover. Let's watch.
Yes, there are two. One is the 2020 election.
Whoa.
And I think that I was far too dismissive of some of the claims made about it. And I think there may be some merit to some of the wildest possible claims about
I disavow
that election. And I haven't proven it yet, but I've, look, I'll just say, and you know this, of course, very well, both of you, that whenever you have politics, you've got a lot of sleazy people and liars and people who just want to get their candidate elected or get paid or whatever. You've got a lot of lying around all political campaigns, so it's very hard to know what's true. And sometimes it takes years to figure it out. So there were a lot of stupid mercenaries making claims about fraud in that past election that were, they couldn't back up. But that doesn't mean that all of those ideas were wrong, and I think that some of them were right. Is what I'm learning, and I'll just leave it there.
Ooh, spicy stuff. Now I don't know anything about the validity of the election. I hear it was the most up and up election of all time, and I have no reason to disagree or agree. We never did find out. I'm allowed to have questions, right? I'm not saying it wasn't on the up and up. I'm not saying the 2020 election was not on the up and up. A lot of amazing things are coming out though. Ballot images and the electronic voting systems. These electronic voting systems generate receipts, records of different things. And it turns out some records aren't quite matching up. You can look it up yourself. Interesting stuff coming out of Rasmussen on the open records requests in the Georgia election. But yeah, that's one thing. Tucker's too, it's too spicy or whatever. Scary to report on. What else, Tucker?
The second thing that bothers me is the UFO story, and. The more you dig into that and talk to people with actual knowledge of it, again, that's another story where there are some, fanciful ideas floating around that are just, there's no evidence that they're true. But if you talk to people who, have actual knowledge of it that they gathered themselves, there are parts of that story that I do not understand at all that are really, really, really dark. It's so dark that I, haven't told my wife about it. I mean, I haven't verified any of this, but this is not just stuff that I read on the internet. I know you all are very, very grounded in that story, so I think I know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But there's some stuff there that's just like, man, I'm not even sure what that means. There's a spiritual component there that I don't fully understand.
Sounded like Alex Jones.
Story bothers me, and I think last thing I'll say that one of the reasons that we've had all these disclosures and all of these 10 whistleblowers at this point, and it hasn't really become front page news. Part of it's suppression. Parts of the government don't want you to know about it, but part of it is the public can't deal with it. It's too far out. The implications are too profound. And I understand that. Because I've heard things where I'm just like, oh, man.
What the heck could he even be talking about? Saying these implications are too far out. There's a spiritual component. You talking, Tucker, are you trying to tell me that, Tucker Carlson? Excuse me while I compose myself, Mr. Carlson, are you trying to tell me that we got aliens at the White House, we got Goku and Frieza at the Tournament of Power? Okay. Are you trying to tell me, Tucker Carlson, that I'm doing an Alex Jones voice because he talks about aliens, but he also connects the whole aliens things to like demons and spirits in the spiritual realm? I mean, what do you guys think about all this? He's saying that's the implications, they're deep, like, holy crap, aliens, bro, aliens. Scott Adams on X.com getting in on the conversation. Asks, if you learned with 100% certainty that human life came from an alien spacecraft that intentionally seeded our planet for life? Would it change your mind about the validity of your preferred holy book? What do you guys think? If you guys found aliens, is the Bible suddenly not true? Will you suddenly have theological questions? Oh, I never. Or are you going to be throwing it all out with the aliens? It's like, oh, well, aliens, I could throw this away. I never need to open up this book ever again. You don't have to take everything back to Dragon Ball Z. Whatever, Carver. If you learned with 100% certainty that human life came from an alien spacecraft, would that change your mind about the validity of your preferred holy book? I'm going to click no change in my religion, Scott Adams. 60% of people who saw this question responded in this way. No change in my religion. No change at all. Is that 60% of phony people? Now, I'm not saying, look, I bet you people, because people are so entrenched in belief and they've identified with belief, I bet you it would be hard to even show them an alien and they'd be like, nope, doesn't change anything. And I'm confident about it because my belief in God is true and real. I guess I'm just wondering if they would keep that same confidence in clicking no change in my religion, if they maintain that same amount of confidence in every aspect of their life. You know what I mean? No change at all. Like, I wonder if you keep that energy at all in all aspects of your life, right? I'm confident I'm right. I'm confident I got God. I'm like, I know God. I know God. 100% certainty. I mean, why does it have to be a question? Couldn't there be both? Like the whole spirits thing, right? Like, couldn't Alex Jones be onto something with the demons and the demon vampires coming through the cosmos and alien spacecrafts and interdimensional vampires and aliens? Couldn't there be some connection there? I mean, come on. It's like the flat earthers in space. Oh, well, no. The world makes you think the earth is round so that they can make you believe there is no God, because then that means we're not the center of the universe and that we're just a tiny piece in this giant cosmos and blah, blah, blah. It's like, couldn't God exist in the flat earth and the round earth? Couldn't God have made evolution or not? Couldn't God have made aliens or not? Like, I don't know how that changes anything. If I could speak to some aliens, I read this somewhere a long time ago and it kind of stuck with me. But if I could speak to an alien, I guess I would ask them, do you have anger? Or are you fallen? Like, I would try and figure out, if I could communicate with an alien species, I would try and find out if they're fallen, if they have a fallen nature, just like us. Wouldn't you want to know? Do you have anger? Duh. Anyways, what are the people in this in the chat? What are people in the responses here saying? In Scott Adams, any Christians in the Scott Adams replies? Never mind, nothing interesting. Moving on. Thank you, Harmony with the super chat says, have you seen the video Pet Goat 2? I don't think I have. Harmony. Oh, no. It's One Pet Goat 2, a 2012 Canadian animated short film. I have not seen this. Harmony, I'll have to check it out. Matthew with the super chat says, what if the aliens are liars too? They show up and claim this and that just to be worshipped like mama. Yeah. Bunch of liars. You never know. Nick in his little hot dog suit asking aliens if they got anger. Glizzy gang. Hashtag Glizzy gang. Right on, Lord Bibby. Thank you for the super chats, everybody. Very generous. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, what are you guys saying in the chat? Aliens? The flat earths miss out a lot of deep stuff, in my opinion, says Kevin Howe. Firmament encompasses the spiritual realm, too. Aliens are demonic, not really aliens, says Lord Bibby. Right on, right on. I've seen a spaceship, but I'm still here. So it's the Bible. Look. It just feels a little shallow, don't you think? Now, I don't know what Tucker Carlson's seen. Apparently, he's seen some ish. He's seen some mind-blasting stuff. Some mind-blasting stuff, apparently. That apparently the public isn't ready for. Is that an October surprise coming up? Anyways, who knows what's going on. I got calls, though. 888-775-3773. I got Ronnie, Ohio. Thank you, sir, for calling my show.
Oh, hey, good afternoon. How we doing today?
Ronnie, thank you. I'm just fine. I think, is this your first time calling me?
This is my first time calling you. I don't know if you heard me speak before with Jesse and Hey.
I've taken your calls.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I wasn't sure. I don't know who always answers the phone. You know, y'all don't say y'all name when y'all ask me for mine.
No problem, man. Well, thank you for calling.
Yes, sir. So, yeah, I had put that random question out there in the chat, and then you answered it, and I'm like, nah, he can't be real.
Oh, wait, which question?
Would you really vote for Trump if he was locked up?
I don't know how all that works, but yes. I mean, my first reaction to that, I don't know if it's a ridiculous thing to even say, but I mean, I heard somewhere that you're allowed to vote for someone even if they're in jail like that. I mean, you wouldn't? Of course. That wouldn't even be a question. If they put Trump in jail and I'm allowed to vote for him or whatever, if there's some way to show support for him despite that, then I'll do it.
Why would you pick somebody that's behind bars to be the head of our military and supposed to be the leader of the free world, and he's in prison?
Because he would be in prison for ridiculous things. He would be imprisoned. He would have been imprisoned by the people I want to vote him in to fight against the enemies, against my enemies of America, Christianity. Those would be the people who have imprisoned him, and wrongfully too. So I'd find it hard. I would find it. It would take I would require something real for my support for Trump to be taken away. You see what I'm saying here? Like,
you think people are wrongfully in prison right now in America?
Probably.
I agree with you there. I agree with you. That part surprises me.
What surprises you?
Most people that would vote for Trump, they say they want law and order, meaning that they want criminals to be locked up, and they trust the criminal justice system. I don't trust it, but people that want more of the criminal justice system, I guess, that we have more of the same, more law and order, more law and order. People that are asking for that, they wouldn't want to take somebody that's behind bars and say, hey, let's put this guy in charge of the country. That just sounds weird.
Are you saying, oh, sorry, let me understand what you're saying here. Are you saying that you see it hypocritical that there are people claiming they want law and order but are willing to vote for a man behind bars?
I'm speaking specifically to you, saying that you would vote for Trump.
Yes,
most Trump supporters want criminals behind bars because they think that the criminal justice system as it exists now, they think that it works. So most people that say they will vote for Trump are not going to be caught voting for a criminal. They're not going to be caught voting for somebody that's behind bars. So for you, as somebody that said you would vote for Trump, I'm like,
you
really?
Can't see...
You will vote for somebody that's a criminal? And then you say, well, he might be there wrongfully. And I'm like, hey, I agree. I know a lot of people that are locked up and probably shouldn't be. But,
so you do. So then
really
you do understand. You do understand that. So then you can see why someone would vote for Trump despite being behind bars, and that person still wanting still being about law and order and still voting for Trump behind bars, you see how that's a possibility.
Possible, yes. Not likely. That's why I said it was surprising, but yeah.
So then you rescind your initial being incredulous at me voting.
I don't.
Why not?
Because the majority of them are not like that. A majority of people are going to say, "Hey, if this guy's locked up, I'm not picking him as the person that I think should be in charge of the country." There are some people that possibly would still do it, but they don't constitute the majority. The majority of people, I think, will have the common sense to say,
"What does that have to do with me?
I'm not voting for a criminal." Say it again.
What does that have to do with me? That other people would see Trump behind bars and wrongfully think, "Oh, this person is a criminal. I'm not going to vote for him. They got him behind bars. How am I going to vote?" If there's people in the country so easily brainwashed to think that, what does that have to do with me and your initial incredulousness at me voting for someone behind bars?
To still think that he's the best candidate, the best person to lead the country.
You disagree?
Strongly.
Why do you say that?
You think he's qualified?
Yeah.
Why do I say that? He broke too many promises.
Like what?
I listened to Uncle Jesse for years say, "Oh, the wall going up. Where the wall at?"
Man, I've heard you talk about this exact thing.
and nobody's answered the question.
And
where's the wall? Where's the wall? He promised the wall, and he promised Mexico was going to pay for it. Where is it at?
I feel like I've heard you even talk about this exact topic with either Hector or Jesse and go back on it and be like, you know what, you're right.
Nobody said I'm right, and I'm not even trying to be right. I'm literally asking a question. Where is it at?
Some of it got built.
Where's the wall?
It's there if you look for it. What's funny about that?
The wall is not. If the wall was built, we wouldn't still have a problem at the southern border.
You're asking where it's at. I'm telling you, it's there.
He promised he was going to lock up Hillary Clinton. I think I just saw her on stage.
The wall
with
is
Bill
at the
Clinton
border.
doing an interview.
We'll get to Hillary. We'll get to Hillary. But the wall is at the border. You asked me where's the wall, and I'm telling you where it is. And then you laughed. Why is that funny?
That's a failed promise. Can we agree that that's a broken promise?
No, but I'm trying to understand. The wall was built, and it's at the border.
You calling it the wall?
I'm trying to understand.
It's not a wall down there. It's not a wall down there.
So if we go down to the border, there'd be no wall.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm asking you a question. If you and I, Ronnie, we went down to the border, there'd be no wall?
The southern border right now looks very similar to how it looked in 2012.
Say again? Say what you just said again?
I said the southern border and the chaos down there is just about as bad as maybe 2012.
And why is that?
When Trump ran, he promised he was going to build a wall, and for years I listened to Jesse
is it like
say,
that
"Oh,
at the
the wall."
southern border?
And I listened.
Why is it a mess?
Because Trump failed to deliver on his promise.
Wow, but that's not quite honest, man.
That is honest. He ran and told people he was going. He told people he was going to build a wall and make Mexico pay for it, and that did not happen.
Yeah, but you're saying
can we agree that can we agree that it did not happen?
No, I disagree. Well, the wall was
you
largely
think it
built.
happened? You think he delivered on that promise?
The wall was largely built. It really was. I don't know why that's
Trump
crazy
delivered
for you
on
to
that
believe
promise. You think he delivered on that promise of building the wall and making Mexico pay for it?
So, do you believe that Trump built any wall at all? How did that go down in your mind? How did that story go down in your mind?
Hold on, don't try to rewrite what I'm saying. I'm telling you that Trump broke the promise. He said he was going to build a wall. That's what I'm telling you. You're trying to get
in your mind, Trump said, in your mind, Trump promised. He said to the people, "Vote for me, and I'll build a wall." And the people voted for him, and then he said, and then he turned around and decided not to. He said, "You know what? I'm just not going to build it." That's in your mind. That's what happened.
I didn't say that that's what happened.
So then what happened?
This is what I said happened. I said Trump promised that he was going to build a wall and make Mexico pay for it. And that did not happen. Can we agree on that?
No.
You said no.
No, we don't agree because you said that it's a broken promise. You specifically are calling it a broken promise, as if to say
it is a broken.
As if to say
he failed to deliver on that.
As if to say Trump as if to say, as if Trump promised the people that he'd build a wall and then turned around and then went back on it. As if to say, as if like the story isn't actually more accurately described as this, that he in fact did go in and did his absolute best to do what he said, and then they fought him. Then he was endlessly fought against by his own Republicans, the governors of the states. Did you forget about all that?
No, I didn't forget about any of it.
So isn't that a little unfair the way you're describing it then?
No, it's not unfair.
Why?
If he had promised to do something, and then he did it, I would give him credit for doing it. Even though he had help, even though he didn't do it alone, if he promised something was going to get done and he delivered on it, I would give him credit for it. I can't give him credit because there's no wall down there that Mexico paid for.
What about? Okay, since you're this.
So then that's when I went to Hillary Clinton. Hold on. So then I went to Hillary Clinton
because was done? You won't even do that though.
We're talking about who is the best person that's qualified to lead this country.
But you were calling my show like you're this fair person. No, you're calling my show like you're this fair person, and I'm going to be this fair person. And Trump made a promise. Like you're calling in like you're all fair. So why not be fair and give him credit for what he did do? You seem to leave all that out.
We're assessing.
But then when they brought it up, you seem to be aware of it.
Because let me answer your question.
Please.
I'm telling you that he's not the best qualified candidate, and you're asking me why. I'm not going to give you good reasons as to why he is.
But then your answer to why is a lie.
Wait.
Your answer to why was a lie, though.
My answer to why is not a lie. It's the truth.
It was.
I said
he broke his promise. That's not how you describe that situation.
He made promises that he did not deliver.
Yeah, but that's not a fair way of describing that situation.
Okay, so even if we agree to disagree on that, he promised that he was going to lock Hillary Clinton up.
Say again. Go ahead.
I said we can agree to disagree and move on. That way we don't take up too much time because we're not going to come to a consensus on it.
No.
You think he delivered? You think he delivered on that promise, and I don't. Nothing you say is going to change my mind. Nothing I say is going to change yours.
I'm not asking you. And that's fair. We're at an impasse there. I'm not asking you to agree with me or change your mind on that. I'm just trying to point out how, in your reasoning for your conclusion, your evidence is cherry picked and totally missing like any deepness at all. It's totally shallow. It's just, he promised and he broke his promise. Like as if did you gloss over the past 4 years?
No. I could write you a 5-paragraph essay on why he didn't deliver on that promise. And again, that's not the only one he made and didn't deliver on. When I would go to Trump rallies, I would hear lock her up and build that wall. He didn't build that wall and he didn't lock her up.
Okay, so
how was he the best candidate? How was he the best person that's fit to serve? And then even if he was to win, who's going to run after that? It's like Trump. It's like people that
it's like endless. We'll cross that bridge when we need to get there. It's like, can we deal with this first? It's like endless wrench after wrench. You don't want to win, Ronnie. You don't want to see. You don't want to fight. You don't want to see. You just want to keep throwing wrenches. Like, yeah, but what about after Trump, huh? And what about this? And what about that? It's why are you fighting us? Why are you fighting us?
I'm not fighting you.
No, but
I literally ask questions,
I just use that word.
Of course,
I'll let you finish.
Of course, yeah, and yeah. My whole point is, I'm like, if you're trying to tell me that you think that Trump is literally the best person to have his hands on the nuclear codes, the best person that's suited to run for president is one, somebody that could be in prison at that time, and two, is somebody that made a bunch of promises and didn't deliver on them.
But
that's insane to me.
But what's insane is like you agree with someone being wrongfully imprisoned, but you're going to go along with the media that's saying, well, you can't vote for him because he's in prison. He's going to be behind bars. And you're going along with all of them saying, well, how can you vote for someone behind bars? But you, in this conversation, you agreed with me that just because someone's behind bars doesn't necessarily mean what it means.
Yes,
why
that's what I'm saying.
Why is it so easy for you to go along with all those people?
Go along with what people?
With the media and all the people counter-signaling Trump and all that?
What did I say that was derived from what the media says?
For you, simply the man behind bars is enough for you to completely ignore all the attacks on him, the dishonest attacks on him. It's easy for you. It's real easy to go along with any little criticism of him. Despite all,
I'm not about to victim. Why y'all victimizing him?
Say again?
Why are y'all victimizing him?
How am I doing that?
Saying that the world is treating him unfair. The world is unfair.
True.
You said people are attacking him. People get attacked all the time. I'm sure you've probably gotten attacked. Everybody gets attacked.
No, but are people attacking Trump?
Why should he be? Everybody gets attacked. Why should he be any different?
Are people attacking Trump?
People attack all presidents.
Right, but are people attacking Trump?
President, and then when they stop running and when they stop serving,
okay, but are people attacking Trump?
People attack Obama. People attack Jimmy Carter even after he lost his wife. It's insane. Former and present presidents are going to get attacked. Why would Trump be any different?
Are people attacking Trump?
Especially when he got there attacking people. The way Ramaswamy debates is the way Trump debated back in 2015.
Are they attacking Trump, though? Are they?
Yes.
So it's a fact that he's being attacked?
Yes, because he's a former president.
Is me mentioning that fact that you agree on suddenly me victimizing him, or is that just me mentioning a fact?
No, that wasn't the reason you victimizing.
No, but why you said I'm victimizing him, and your reasoning for you saying that is because I mentioned him being attacked, and you're saying, well, everybody gets attacked, and so I just want to clarify this: is me mentioning this fact that he's being attacked, which you agree on, is that me victimizing him?
No.
Okay, so I'm not victimizing him?
You are.
All right, and your reasoning for that again is what?
When you play your monologue back, you'll hear it in your voice. You'll hear it in your delivery. You know how they got the uptalk in the delivery, and body language is 90% of communication? You'll see it. You weren't talking about him in a way where it's like, if he goes to jail, he deserves it. You talking about him like
if he
doesn't deserve the attacks he's under. Why wouldn't
he? You think he deserves it?
Why wouldn't he?
Well, tell me why you think he deserves it. So you're saying you're saying what
whether or not he deserves it is not up to me. I'm not. I don't own seeing.
No, Ronnie. No. We don't have time for that because you keep going down.
I don't answer dumb questions.
You keep doing. Don't go down another line of reasoning. Just follow me here. Just going down too many lines of just follow me.
Go ahead.
You're saying he deserves it. Like you believe that he did steal classified documents and he's criminally liable for stuff he said about the 2020 election?
Maybe. I'm glad we'll let the facts come out in court.
Wow. Right on, Ronnie. Well, are you a conservative Republican guy? I forget.
No, I don't put myself in any of those categories.
Oh, okay.
Like when Jesse would ask people, like, are you religious? And they like, no, I don't want to be classified with them.
So
there's not really a group of people that I want to be classified with in this country. They all kind of messed up.
So then who are you with? Well, like, do you see, if it's not Trump, then who? What are you thinking?
The last two presidential elections, I didn't even vote on the presidents. I didn't bubble in either one of their names. I just voted on the local stuff that actually affects my life. I was like, I'll let Texas and California decide who the president going to be. 2 people in California and 2 people in Texas will cancel out my vote anyway. And then being in Ohio, it's most likely going to be Republican anyway, except when they voted for Obama. But
all right, Ronnie.
So yeah, I don't vote along party lines. I watch all the debates on both parties, and I stay informed. And I try to decide who the best candidate is rather than having a blind allegiance to people. I watch Game of Thrones and enough TV shows to know that blind allegiance is dangerous.
But so nothing about all your paying attention and being informed. None of that has any of that informing yourself taught you anything about like that? You know, these people are up against Trump, that they are hateful, they like hate America, that kind of stuff. Have you seen how the whole establishment turned on him? Media, Republican, Democrat, all that? Have you been paying attention to that?
I have. I would say that's true for some of them. It's not true for all of them.
You don't see Trump. You don't see the establishment and Trump being totally different from each other, distinguished from each other.
It's been like that since he came down the escalator. I think that was part of what got him elected, was that he was not establishment. So to say that they're at odds right now with. I mean, it's been like that since 2015.
Right on. Well, thanks, Ronnie. Anything else you want to say before we move the wheels?
I'll probably call Hake tomorrow and talk to him about the whole deist thing. Try to see if I can walk him through that so he can understand that the founding fathers were not Christian or Judeo-Christian. Judeo-Christian wasn't even a phrase until like the 1820s, and it wasn't even really used until like the 1930s. So I might call him and talk to him about that. I probably won't call Jesse.
Your point being that the founding fathers weren't Christian?
Correct. Most of them were deists. They weren't Christians.
Because you read some article that called them deist, despite many
this
of them.
Was not this. Yeah, that's a topic that I would say I probably dedicated an entire semester to when I was in high school.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, like that was what I studied. I was history, all the history classes.
So help me understand. It's kind of interesting. You're saying that the founding fathers were deists and not Christians. I heard some of this before.
Yes, and the whole Judeo-Christian thing.
Why are they
when
not
people
Christian,
try to,
though?
What do you mean? Why are they not Christian?
Yeah. You're saying they're deists as opposed to Christian.
Correct.
What makes you say that? If you could quickly.
What type of Christian would establish a government that says people aren't people?
That's your reasoning?
No, that's a question that I'm asking you to help you think about it so that you can get better understanding. Because the question that you're asking is kind of unclear, but I was trying to, help connect some dots.
What was my question?
Like you asked me you asked me why are they not Christian? That's kind of like
you're
a
saying
weird
they're
question.
deists and not Christian. And your reason and why do you say that? You're saying it's because they came here and created slavery, or they did slavery.
They didn't come here and create it.
And no Christians would partake in slavery. Is that what you're saying?
I said no. We're not. See, slavery is different than telling people that they're not people. Those are two different things. And they basically said an entire race of people weren't people. That's not Christian.
And that's why they're deists and not Christian.
Do you think? No, that's just one example of it. If you would really wanted to just go back and read
the
what they
Bible talks
wrote,
about slavery, so I don't know what you're talking about.
The Bible does talk about slavery, and when asked what the greatest commandments were, it was not to enslave your neighbor; it was to love your neighbor as you love yourself. But number one, loving God. So yeah, slavery is mentioned in the Bible. It's 66 books. Anywho, I was saying to you that them being deists, if you read what they wrote, you would understand that they were deists. And then to suggest that they were Judeo-Christian, that's a whole nother topic, but it's way out of left field because, again, Judeo-Christian wasn't even a phrase until like the 1820s, and it wasn't really used until the 1930s. And now we're more than 150 years removed from Thomas Jefferson and George Washington.
All right. Well, thanks, Ronnie. Appreciate your call.
Yes, sir. Yeah, have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Call me again. Great caller. Nick trying to smoke screen his... What am I smoke screening, Donnie Armour? What's up, man? How you doing? Welcome. You're just taking sides. You'll just take sides with any person that's not Christian, Donnie Armour. This call... Anyways. We're still rolling with Trump. All the Trump signalers never have a good response. They all deep down know Trump is the only one. Anyways, of Air and C, Utah, you're on the air. Thank you, sir.
Hey, what's up, man? Can you hear me okay?
Hear you just fine. Appreciate it.
Great. So I originally called in about something else, but before I do mention that, I got to say, man, I'm somewhat in line with the last caller. I mean, Trump is, I still think your guys' Trump worship is pretty strongly misplaced. I mean, he said, you do remember the election the whole time. It was lock her up, lock her up. One of the first things that he did when he won was like congratulate Hillary on being such a good competitor in the run. I mean, he completely went against that.
You really have a gripe over?
The,
that's really an honest gripe of yours?
well, I already know because I agree with the last caller. I haven't voted in presidential elections.
That's fair. That's fair. But that's fair. That's
yeah,
fine. That's fine. Last caller.
No
but
point.
wait, stay on what you just said. You actually have a gripe about that? That he congratulated her after the election?
If you and I are going toe to toe in an election, Nick, and I say one of my slogans throughout the whole race is "lock him up, lock that anchor baby up." You know what I'm saying? And then as soon as it's over, I say, we're actually friends behind the scenes. I want to congratulate you on a.
So if you congratulated me, that means we're friends behind the scenes?
He didn't deliver, and another thing.
No. Stay with what we're talking about. Don't move to someone else.
I mean. What
Congratulating someone means you're behind the scene friends.
Well, he had no intention of locking her up.
No.
He lied.
No. Hold up. Congratulating someone means that you're actually behind the scenes. You're actually buddy and you're friends.
They are cool behind the scenes.
No. Answer if you congratulate someone, does that mean that you are actually buddy behind the scenes with that person that you congratulated?
Sir, I'm an American patriot. If someone's the enemy of my country, I am not going to congratulate them at the end of a political office run. Or
really? Did you just call yourself an American? Game. Didn't you just call yourself an American, though? Don't you know Americans are honorable, distinguished type folks, and they would have something called sportsmanship?
That's different when people are trying to destroy your country.
Really?
You know what I mean? If I'm able to kick out.
Don't you know that Americans are Christians, and Americans and Christians say to love your enemies, and don't your enemies want to destroy your country?
Either way, he didn't deliver on his promise.
So wait, back to the question though. Does shaking someone's hand and congratulating them, does that mean that you're behind the scenes, you're buddy and all that?
Well, there's pictures in that go back, so yeah, I would say that.
Yeah,
they are
but
buddy.
If you are in a race against someone and you congratulate that person,
you have all that
does that mean?
Towards them.
Does that mean if you're in a race against someone? Does that mean when you congratulate them after you beat them? Does that mean that behind the scenes you're actually the best of friends, buddy, and all that? Everything you were saying.
Again, this is a different context. This is not a sporting competition. This is Hillary Clinton is evil, a criminal, and out to destroy America, right? Well, at that time. So the way he went about that...
But you said him shaking her hand means that they were all buddy. So I'm asking you, yes or no, if you, 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎, were in a competition with someone, it could be anything.
If my slogan
and you beat them, and
up.
it could be. Let's say this competition is as serious as the end of the world, and as simple as I don't know who has the best lemonade. Let's say in any range of that competition, no matter what, the biggest to the smallest, you 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎 were in that competition, and you beat someone, and you went up to that person and congratulated them and shook their hand. Would it be fair for the public watching you do that to think that those two are actually behind the scenes best of friends? Look at them.
Either way, he didn't deliver on his promise.
Come on, man! Just say no. Just say.
Well, your analogy.
Just say no, and we can move. Just say no. We all know that you don't think that.
No, because your analogy makes no sense. You're saying if it's a competition of any kind, if I go compete
what made no sense is your claim.
Ultimate frisbee.
But what made no
In warfare, they don't shake hands, bro. They kill each other. You know what I'm saying? They're enemies. It's different levels of severity. Your analogy, I'm sorry, does not make sense, sir.
It actually makes total sense because you're the one. You're the one who's making. You're the one saying things that don't make sense. If you made so much sense, and we're so right about what you're saying, why do you have to go into things that don't make sense to prove a point? Like,
what does make sense
like he shook her hand, so that means they were actually buddy, best of friends, and all these things that you're making up.
Nick, that's just one example. Okay, let's not fixate on that. Let's fix on the border wall, bro. When did they get a couple miles of that wall?
We could get to that, but I love this. I really love this because it's not even so much about politics. It's so interesting how people think and believe, because it's not even so much about politics. At this point, it's about just basic reality and language. And it seems to me like you still haven't clued in to the fact that you made a claim that you don't even believe yourself. That a man shaking that woman's hand meant all these things. Do you want to rescind that or what? Or shall we just move on?
The only reason why I brought up that was simply because he didn't deliver on his promise. He didn't even attempt to get her locked up after he got elected. Now, did he?
All right, we can move on.
All right. Now, the border wall, that was not delivered at all. Like, mass immigration did not. Yeah, no.
0%?
Okay, a few miles.
0%?
A few miles.
A few miles?
How many miles? If you
like 300 out of the 500 or something like that.
What, the border wall?
Yeah.
Man, them illegals are still poor, man. Your cousins are still poor over, man.
That may be true.
Man,
but you're going to blame Trump for that? You're going to be dishonest and be like, yeah, that's you really pull up a video of the southern border and people pouring in, and you look at a video like that and you think, wow, Trump. Thanks, Trump.
I mean,
tell me honestly, you look at a video of these illegals pouring in and you think to yourself, thank you, Trump.
No, I don't blame him specifically. He's just another politician, just like the rest of them, that just follows what's laid out in front of him. He's completely owned and controlled by the juice crew. I mean, it's common sense, man. It's really not algebra.
And
here,
your boy,
Nick. I mean,
and your boy Ron DeSantis is the one who's gonna fix it all.
Hell no. He's literally guilty of treason.
Oh, my bad.
signed two bills
I thought you were about
Israel. He signed 2 bills in Israel that restrict our freedoms here. If it was up to me, he would get the death penalty.
Whoa!
Are you kidding me? That's what you get for treason. Are you that surprised? For treason, that's what you get. It's death. Okay, signing legislation in another country, okay, to restrict your people's rights and freedom of speech in Florida.
Okay, so
that's
if I'm understanding this correctly, I'm following you, man, and and I'm sorry for saying that about DeSantis. I got you wrong on that. I was thinking about someone else. So if I'm understanding this correctly, of Aaron C., you're telling me we got the juice crew controlling stuff. DeSantis is a liar. Trump is a liar, and you got all this mess.
Yep.
And the establishment. You agree with me on the establishment, is it fair that you also believe in this, that that our government is captured and the American public don't have a say?
It's captured by globalist forces.
Okay, are we all at least somewhat on the same page?
Yeah,
and
man,
so all of these things are true. All of these things are true. And the whole establishment has picked an enemy named Trump. And because he didn't quite build a wall according to you, and because he shook Hillary's hand, and because he shook Hillary's hand, you're just going to throw it all out and be like, yeah.
Hey, can I stop you for a second though? Because again, I've been in the truther movement. I mean, we're talking more than a decade or so.
No, but that's your response to the that's your response. Your response. Sorry, what were you saying? Go ahead.
Look, man, you're over here saying, "Oh, the establishment's after Trump." No, they're not. No, they're not. It's WWE wrestling. It's basically all staged. They're not really after him. Okay, he's not really going to jail for 100 years. That's not going to happen.
And how do you know this?
It's not going to happen. Because I know. You want to make a bet on it? How much pesos do you want to bet?
No, because I was following you. I was following you when you were saying, but now you're saying.
This is news media joke. It's a charade.
No,
you know it is. You know.
Well, let me summarize for my viewers here, man. Just follow me.
Billionaires don't go to jail.
Let me summarize for my viewers here, because so we can understand this call. So now I'm understanding. Okay, you're saying, and tell me where I'm wrong here. So what you're saying is that that myself and other people's, we're completely deluded that Trump is this anti-establishment pick, that he's this outsider person. He's actually with the whole shebang, and he's just another person to distract us. People and the us that are being distracted are the people who think that he's this outsider. He's actually establishment. He's an insider, and he's am I on the right track here? Is this what you're saying?
Yeah.
And now, why do you say?
Well,
Now, why do you say? Now, what's your? Well, prove to us, silly people like myself. Why am I wrong about this then? How are you so sure that he's actually what you're saying he is?
Oh, that is 100% so easy, Nick. Thank you for asking.
Yes.
And again, it's unfortunate that I had to learn this 4 years ago, and that you guys are still not quite caught up. So
I'm willing to. I want to.
So we admit that the Juice Crew they basically control American politics. That gig has been up for a while. I think that's been common
That's what you
knowledge now
say.
for several years. Oh, so they don't? So they don't? That's what you're saying?
That's what you say. I'm not saying that.
Okay, well, it's a fact that they do. It's very simple. Okay,
and why do you say that?
So when you look at how they do controlled opposition, all someone has to do. I'm not sure if you've seen the video or not, but all you have to do is just Google Trump's donors BitChute. Okay, and on BitChute, like the second video that comes up, Trump's donors BitChute. You ought to play it for your audience here. It shows every single person that financed, managed his campaign pretty much, and like 90+% of them are Juice Crew. That is enough for me to draw a conclusion. It's pretty concrete. Have you seen that video, Nick?
No, I haven't, but I'm following you. You're saying there's a video on BitChute. Wait, hold on. I'm responding.
Yeah.
You're saying there's a video of Trump and his donors and that they're all Jewish. So what have you proven?
Correct.
What have you proven to us?
How much of a fat super
But
chat
with
do
you
I
say-
gotta send in
with-
for you to play that video?
No, then you don't have to do that. I can play. I can. I'm not disagreeing. I'm not even saying the content of said video is not real. Let's assume it's all real. I'm not disagreeing with that at all. I don't see why I would doubt that. I don't see why I would doubt that Trump has a whole bunch of Jewish donors. I'm trying to understand, because what have you just proven with that? What did you just prove?
That he's simply just controlled opposition, just playing a part. It's simply
So you're just
WWE
saying like a bunch of terms you learned. He's controlled opposition,
what do you
Juice
think
Crew.
terms I learned?
Juice
Trump's
Crew, a controlled opposition.
He's controlled
You're
opposition.
just saying
Yeah,
words.
I didn't learn that, sir.
You told why not just tell me, hey Nick, because like you went all the way around to basically tell me what, essentially to tell me what. Okay, Nick, I believe Trump is not a good actor because he has Jewish donors.
I don't.
Why
believe
did it?
so.
Why did you gotta go?
I know.
Why?
I know. I'm
Is that essentially what you're saying? Because I guess I'm trying to understand you here, because you're telling me about a video on BitChute, but I guess essentially your position is this, right? Your position is Trump has a bunch of Jewish donors. That's why I don't like him.
No, I mean, it's just simply controlled opposition. And I don't think, this isn't a think, this isn't a believe, this isn't any of that stuff. Years involved researching this stuff. It's just common knowledge that he is. That's
well,
all.
if it's so
And
common, why can't you tell me?
He wasn't the greatest president by any means either. I mean, there was multiple gun legislations passed under him. I mean, he was
so he was just the worst president.
Laws.
He's not even. So he was just this bad president.
I ain't saying he the worst. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying he the worst.
So you didn't like the gun thing and you didn't like the wall thing, but he's just this horrible president.
He said a lot of stupid stuff. He said, like, "Oh, African Americans
why are we moving
built
on from
this
what you
nation."
said?
I mean, he said just absolute pathetic stuff. He was clearly playing a role. I feel like anyone that had to go through certain situations in life, they would understand, like, okay, this guy's just trying to.
So, but why won't you tell me clearly? Why won't you tell me clearly how, though?
I just told you how. The Juice Crew, okay, controls American politics. Okay, maybe not 100%, but like 90 to 95%.
But what did you tell us? You haven't taught us anything.
Family's intermarried with them, Nick. It's not like one or two.
But you haven't taught us
people.
anything. Why is it that Trump having Jewish donors is a bad thing? Help me understand.
Because that shows that he's controlled opposition. If I was running as a politician on that level, and you research a video that says OBSCENE's donors BitChute and every single one of my backers is Juice Crew, you can bet your bottom dollar that I'm not really here to benefit America like that, and that I'm just playing a role.
But look, you're talking to me as someone who's
I mean?
not knowledgeable about the Juice Crew or whatever you're talking about. I'm not knowledgeable like that. Convince me why a Trump supporter why I'm wrong for supporting a man who has these Jewish donors. That's you still haven't explained to me that leap.
Sure. So I am the doctor to cure you and Hake of your guys' and Jesse of your Trump worship. Now, I've been trying to tell you guys I've called in a couple times, saying that you guys got to let this whole Trump thing go. I mean, he simply is just controlled opposition. It's just like Alex Jones saying the Chi-Coms run Hollywood. It's no different than that.
All right,
it's the same thing.
No problem, man. Well, I appreciate your call.
Well, hold on, man. Let me drop
No, man, the show's over. We got to go.
All right, man.
Call me again, Averyancy.
You got it.
I mean, he's just going to keep saying controlled opposition without telling me. I mean, you could just say terms. I mean, I do this too. On this show, and I really got to watch it. We just repeat things. I mean, can we make this upcoming year a year of not repeating things that we learned? Please, can we make this upcoming year a year of not repeating terms and things we learned? He's just controlled opposition. And Juice Crew controlled opposition. Well, Juice Crew controlled opposition. Duh, Nick, what don't you get about that? What don't you get about Juice Crew controlled opposition? Like, you guys could talk about that stuff on my show, but like, you got to be real. You got to be real and like make sense, not just throw out terms. I welcome those topics on my show. And I like it because some of you in my chat, you guys go like you guys stop thinking for yourselves as soon as you hear about that stuff. You hear Juice Crew and you're like, base caller, Nick, what are you hiding, Nick? Base caller. He said Juice Crew, based. It's like, some Jews believe in the Talmud, and the Talmud says horrible things about Jesus. Okay, well, that's something real, I think. I'm saying I think because I can't confirm this. I've never read it myself. Juice Crew, controlled opposition. Well, okay, well, now you're not making sense. Okay. The callers were right. Anyways, we still rolling with Trump. That's the show, folks. Join me tomorrow for more American Anchor Baby. American Anchor Baby tomorrow, Tuesday. We got Joel Friday's show, 11 a.m. Don't miss it. We got the Hake Report, 9 a.m. And, of course, Jesse Lee Peterson's show, Country Western Tuesday. All Jews believe in Talmud that practice. Is that true? See, I feel like it's some of this assumption talk. Teflon Don in my chat, you're saying all Jews believe in the Talmud and practice Judaism. Don't be fooled. Is that true? That sounds like an assumption talk. We don't do that kind of talk around here. Frig if I know. All right, folks, join me tomorrow. Call me tomorrow. And super chats, everything tomorrow. All right? More American Anchor Baby tomorrow. All right, y'all. Appreciate it. And take care. Bye.